Hey guys, so today what I'm going to do is build an entire M1 pie according to the sector breakdown of the S&P 500. And I'm going to build it just so you can see how to build it, for one. And two, I'm going to actually put in stocks that I would invest in today. I'm not suggesting that you do this. I will leave a link to it, but the main focus of this is to actually build one according to the S&P 500 sectors. So to start off, what you would do, you'd log in and you go to research, click on research, click on my pies. You would click on create new pie, and then you'd start. There is 11 sectors. There's basic materials, communication services, consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, energy, financial services, healthcare, industrials, real estate, technology, and utilities. So you'd start with one, and I'm going to just start from the top. I'm going to go basic materials, and it'll show you all the stocks available there. But what it also does is it breaks it down by industry. So if you want to even go further, you can say you want to invest in a steel company, it'll filter those out for you. If you want to invest in agriculture, it'll list those out for you. So I'm going to just kind of to try to speed this up a little bit because this is going to be long. I am just going to choose some from the front page, but there are going to be some that I would want anyway. And the first is Rio Tinto, which is a materials miner, basically. And the next one is APD, which is the air products and chemicals. So they're a little bit different. One's in metals mining and one's in chemical. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I want to say like helium, that type of chemical type of products. And then you'd click, once you're done selecting your stocks that you like, and also Dow DuPont. I like Dow DuPont. You click add. And then it'll show you what your holdings are, and it defaults it to an equal weight. So if you wanted to change the weightings of the stocks that you chose, you'd click edit again and say you wanted 40% in Rio Tinto, 30% in APD, and 30% in Dow. And then you'd name it. You'd come here to pie name and you'd name it materials. And then you'd click save. Now, once that's done, you go to My Pies again, create new pie, then you move to the next sector, communication services. And for communication services, I like AT&T because they are a dividend, slow dividend growth, but they've been paying their dividend for a long time. And who else do I like in this space? There's not a ton. Comcast is cool because you get into, well, it's they're kind of competitors. Not all of these companies are competition to each other per se. Some of them are very different. Like American Tower, they are in the tower space, so they might lease some of their towers to some of these guys. So I like that combination right there. Then you'd add, and then you'd to name it and to adjust the percentages, you'd go to edit again. And so you wanted 40 there and then 60 there, and you'd name it communication. You click save. Now the key here is not to add to portfolio just yet. So you go back to My Pies. Now you have a communications pie and a materials pie. You go create new pie again. You go to consumer cyclical, and this has Amazon, Alibaba, the big names there. The names I like in this sector here are going to be something like Disney. There's some really good companies here. Lowe's. McDonald's is always a safe one. And we can click on next and go to the next page. I like Ford for its dividend yield. I like Carnival because I like cruises. So there you go. I mean, you can choose. There's a lot to choose from. AutoZone is a great company as well. Chipotle. Best Buy is a little iffy, but you can choose as many as you'd like. I like eBay. E-commerce right there. You click add. And then you got 6 there. You go to edit. And then you consumer cyclical. And then say you wanted, let's adjust there. You want less exposure to Ford, more exposure to Lowe's and McDonald's, less exposure to, I'm gonna have to probably cut that down or add. Got 5% more. See, it has to all add up to 100. So we'll go 25 to McDonald's. And you click save. And you just keep on going. This is going to be a long one, guys. Stick with me. Next one is consumer defensive. And here I like Pepsi. I like Unilever mainly because they're probably one of the fairly valued consumer packaged goods stocks out there right now. And then Philip Morris. You can go Altria Group as well, or even BTI. Mondelez is a good one. What else do I like in this space? I like a lot of stocks in this space, but there are a lot of, I think, what would I say, heavily valued? I don't want to say overvalued, but they're a little heavily valued. Tyson Foods is another one. If you guys like, for instance, Beyond Meat, Tyson Foods, they're actually fairly valued right now. Has their own meat substitute product. And I also like Archer Daniels Midland. They do, they're more agriculture. They could almost be in the materials sector. And once you're done choosing, hit add. Click edit. Name it. And here I'm going to do, matter of fact, I think I'm going to leave that as equally weighted at 20% each. And just click save. Go back to My Pies. Create new pie. Go to energy. Energy is fairly easy for me. I like ExxonMobil and I like Chevron. You can also drill down into the midstream sector. I like the midstream sector as well. That is the storage and transportation of it, so they're not really involved in production. But I'm going to just go with the big boys, ExxonMobil and Chevron. We'll click add. We will edit that. We're going to leave it equal weighted. Name it energy. Hit save. Go back to my pies, create new pie, financial services, and here I like Berkshire Hathaway. I like Citigroup. I just was researching them and their dividend growth, and this might be a company to look at long term. PayPal, I like PayPal because of the increased online transactions. And I am gonna stick with it with that. We're gonna edit that. Call that financials. It's funny, Berkshire Hathaway, they're under financials, but they're more of a conglomerate. So it's weird. It's different. It's weird that they're classified as a financial, but that works for me. So I want to do 40% in Berkshire Hathaway, and we'll do 35 in Citigroup and 25 in PayPal. Click Save. We'll go back to my pies, create new pie, healthcare, and again, you can drill down into what other sector, what subsector or industry that the companies are in. But in here, of course, Johnson & Johnson is the big boy. I like Pfizer as well. And medical devices, I like Medtronic. And then I'm also bullish on Bristol Myers because of their acquisition of Celgene. And, AbbVie's a popular one as well. CVS is interesting because they are retail. They're kind of a combination retail, healthcare, and insurance. So they're kind of financial, retail, and healthcare. So it's an interesting play there. But I'm done adding in healthcare. Go to edit. Call that healthcare. I'm going to leave that equal weighted. Click Save. Let that process. Go back to my pies. Create new pie. And then we're to industrials. In industrials, I like, obviously, 3M. I like the transports. I like the trains. Boeing is interesting. A lot of controversy on Boeing, and Boeing is one of those is one of those where controversy could make you money. So I'm gonna stick with Boeing. So I have airlines, I have trains, I have industrial powerhouse. I also like Caterpillar. So then you have Caterpillar, that is construction equipment. Click Add. I'm done there. Go to Edit, rename it. Industrials. Did I spell that right? Doesn't look right. Industrials. And I'm going to leave that equal weighted as well. Click Save. Go back to my pies, create new pie. Go to real estate, and here I like Simon Property Group, even though they have been underperforming. It's because of the death of the mall REIT, obviously. I like the REIT sector, but these are probably some of the best picks up top, but me personally, I go for some of the beat down ones personally. I don't suggest you do that, but it's what I do personally. I like WP Carey. They are a diversified REIT, so they don't specialize just in one area. So that's kind of kind of a good way to diversify your REIT holdings, because a lot of these are, just specialize in one thing, like storage, or like Sun Communities is specializing in kind of retirement communities. And this one's a sleeper, Verit. They've had some controversy back in the days where they were sued. They've been on an uptrend lately, but bad news, like I said before, bad news can sometimes turn into good things. So that's my real estate pie, and we'll go to edit. We'll click real estate. And for this one, I am going to go 30 there, 30 on Ventas. I'm going to go 20 and 20. And click save. We'll go to my pies, create new pie. We're almost done with technology next. In it's tough to pick some tech companies, but I do like Apple. They are overvalued right now, or heavily valued. But I think their runway for things. If you listen to some of, some interviews of the CEO, I like the direction that he's going. He wants to get into healthcare big time. They're getting into entertainment, all kinds of stuff. So what I like here, Apple, Intel, Cisco, and I'm probably I forgot about Avgo. JMAG did a little overview for them, and 4.2% and huge growth. So I'm going to go Avgo and IBM as well for income. So we'll add that and go to edit, call that technology, and I'm going to just go ahead and leave that equal weighted as well. Go back to my pies, and I think we're on our last one, which is utilities. And next era could be a good one in the future as they go into the next era. Pretty interesting name there. Here, you're really just looking for yield. Besides probably next era, and I think there's a couple other ones that are trying to do, new style energy. So I like PPL. Some people like Southern. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I'm gonna click add. I'm gonna click edit. Call this utilities. Equal weighted. Hit save. And go back to my pies now. Now we have all of our sectors: utilities, technology, real estate, industrials, healthcare, financials, energy, consumer defensive, consumer cyclical, communications, and materials. Now what you want to do, you don't want to add them to your portfolio. You want to create another new pie. So we'll click on create new pie. And once you're there, you go to my pies, and then you just check off all the pies that you created. Click, and you click add. So now it'll show you your pie, and it'll show you how many holdings you have, what your dividend yield is currently, what your past 5-year performance is, but this will default again to equal weighting. So now to change that, what I do is go over here to the S&P 500 indices, and it'll show you sector breakdown if you type in the ticker SPX of the S&P 500, and it'll show you sector breakdown. So here we go. Information technology at 23, healthcare at 14. So let's just go in here and edit. Let's do it one by one. Okay, utilities is 3.3, but you can't do that in here, so we'll just go 3%. We'll have to make some adjustments probably. Communications is 10%. Consumer cyclical, which would be consumer discretionary here, is 10%. Consumer defensive, which would be consumer staples here, is 7%. Energy is 4.3, so we'll make that 4%. Financials is 13%. Healthcare is 14%. Industrials 9%. We'll keep that there. Materials 3%. Real estate 3%. And technology is 23%. So let's see where we're at. 99%. So, you have 1% to play with. So what you want to do, if you want yield, you add it to utilities. You want growth, you add it to technology. So we'll just add it there. Make sure it all adds up to 100%. And we're going to call this complete sector pie. Hit save. Let that process, and there you go. So I just created a complete sector pie that has 40 holdings, 2.879% dividend yield, no expense ratio, and they're all here. So you can just click on them, find out what your tech has 5 holdings with a 3% yield. Go back to healthcare. Healthcare has 4 holdings with a 2.7% yield. So once you're here, you can add to portfolio. Now this is going to add it to my current portfolio, but I'm just going to do it for fun because I'm not investing in this. So once it's there, you can click add. Whoops, not add. Excuse me. Once you assign it a percentage and it adds up to 100, you click save and you hit confirm. And now it is in your portfolio. So if you click on it, it'll show you everything that you have, your targets, and then you can click on buy and sell, or you can just let M1 Finance do it it's yourself. So you can click on buy sell and add however much you want in it, and that'll be part of your M1 Finance account now. So I'm going to leave the link down below if you have any questions whatsoever. I know this was long. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Leave a comment, questions, anything down below. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.